Something I find really cool in video games is multiple playable characters. Games where you can play with different characters with all of them having their unique abilities and mechanics. I love the feeling of having many options to play with. So much so that I'm making a game with multiple playable characters. Except the characters from my game have a pretty big issue. They don't have models. The reason why is very simple. I'm at an early stage of development, so the characters are still the prototype form, but I think it's time to make some changes and make them look good. And by them I mean only one of them because I focus on other stuff and didn't have time to model all of them. So welcome to Devlog 3 of this game. I don't have a name for it yet. So yeah, this game. Okay, I know character design is the theme of the devlog, but I want to talk about some stuff I made before that. First, I actually started working on a main menu because the one I had was a disgrace. I experimented a bit with the background to make it look good instead of being just a flat color. I made a menu that showcases the characters, and if you click on it, you'll see the stats of the selected character. I honestly really enjoyed how it turned out, even though it's quite simple as of now. But something is missing. There's no way to upgrade the characters. So I drew an icon of a coin and added an upgrade button, where you can make your character stronger by spending coins. I tried to make the coin 3D, but that didn't look good. But how do you get coins is the real question. Well, first I made some changes to the game mode I already had. The goal used to be to kill as many enemies as you could before you died, but now it's to kill as many enemies as you can before the timer ends. And because of this change, I added a respawn, so if you died, you would come back after a few seconds. This definitely caused some issues, and by some I mean a lot, like the enemies not knowing how to act when the player was dead. I mean, their whole life purpose was to kill the player, so I think it makes sense they don't know what to do when the player dies. It's kinda like Joker without Batman. But I fixed all the bugs, or at least most of them, and added a screen that shows how long you will have until you respawn. And to make the game a bit more interesting, when there's 1 minute left, the game enters in frenzy mode, which makes enemies spawn faster. I know the text says something different, but I was trying something back then, so don't worry about that. I improved the end screen that now shows how many enemies the player defeated, how much damage the player dealt, and the amount of coins they will receive. The amount of coins is directly related to the enemies killed, so the more enemies you defeat, the more coins you get. At this point, I had the most basic game loop. Play a match, get coins, upgrade characters, get more coins, upgrade characters further, and so on. I added some small tweaks that aren't really worth mentioning, and then I worked on a big gameplay feature. They are what I like to call enhancements. All characters have 3 abilities: main, secondary, and ultra, and they're unique to each character. What enhancements do is improve these abilities, but not in the sense where it's just more damage and that's it. I think it's best to give an example. Let's take Sean, the first character of the game. He shoots 4 projectiles with his main ability, but with the enhancement unlocked, he now shoots 5. So it's not like a damage upgrade, it improves the ability without taking its essence. Did that make sense? I hope it did, because I don't know how else to explain. Either ways, if you somehow understood that explanation, each character has 4 unique enhancements that improves their abilities. Sean can gain a shield, Ashley can heal with every attack, and Tess can create a minefield. In case it's not obvious, this is a bug. Each enhancement unlocks after upgrading the character to a certain level, and once bought, they're permanent. I could explain what each enhancement does, but that's boring, so let's get to what you really want to see. This is one of the characters of my game, fully modeled, rigged, and animated, even with special effects for the abilities. But how did we get here? Well, first of all, I have to thank Crash Sune Academy, I hope I pronounced that correctly, for the tutorial series that helped me learn how to texture and rig characters better, because before that I had a separate texture for each part of the models, and now I know how to make it only one. Yeah, it was pretty dumb not having that before. The character I decided to model was Ashley, which is not the character you'll obtain when you start the game, but I thought she'd be the easiest. I started by reusing the old model I had, that looking back was pretty darn ugly. I didn't change it much besides making it smoother and some slight changes. Next thing I did was work on the texture. As I said, I have it all in one single image, and then I can select which parts of the model go in each part of the image. And this is actually really good. As I was texturing the character, I kept thinking of something. How would I do the face? 3D? Or 2D. A lot of 3D games do use 3D faces because it just looks better, but modeling, rigging, and animating a 3D face? Yeah, that doesn't seem like something I could pull off. So I settled on a 2D face. It's way easier because I just have to draw the different sprites and then I can change them however I see fit. And you would assume I could do this in Blender, and I can, but it doesn't do anything since Unity just ignores it. You see, I can model and texture stuff in Blender as long as I don't mess with Blender's nodes. And because Unity does not recognize it, I had to make a whole other animation specifically for the face and synchronize it with the others. Sometimes I hate Unity, but no matter, I got it working. I made some animations which are not the best and implemented them into the game. And you could say Ashley is finished. Well, no. Although the base model is finished, the attacks are still grey cubes, and I wanted to make them actually unique. Since she's a gamer, for the main ability I made her shoot keys from the keyboard, and for the secondary I made her shoot like Xbox buttons, don't ask me why. In her ultra, she doesn't shoot anything, so I just gave her some particles for the duration of it. And remember that character menu screen I showed? My idea was to have the character's model show up there, but that didn't work, so I made it so it shows the photo of the character. Some sort of artwork would probably look better, but I don't have the skills to do that. And that's all I have to show for this devlog. It was a short one, I know, but I don't want to drag it and talk too much without showing actual content. If you watched the previous videos, you could also tell this video had much less jokes, and that's mostly because I couldn't think of any. So for those of you who do enjoy my humor, I apologize. And for those of you who hate laughing, why are you even in my channel? But let me know which type of video you prefer down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, it'd mean a lot if you dropped a like, a comment, or subscribed. It's kind of been hard to find motivation sometimes, so your support definitely helps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.